Welcome to Focus Washington. I'm Chuck Coney. My guest today is Stan Collender, who's an expert on the budget. Stan, we've had a continuing resolution, so now things are going to go on like normal?
Well, unless you think that normal is total uncertainty and uncertainty about what's going to happen in the future. Don't forget, this continuing resolution that keeps the government funded is only good until December 11th, and then all of the issues that almost shut down the government this time will likely to pop right back up again and be even more difficult.
And they won't be resolved in any way in that amount of time.
Oh no, I mean, in fact, they're going to get worse because this is likely to be, this next vote will be on a full year budget, a full year continuing resolution, which means for most members of Congress who didn't like these decisions the first time but were willing to vote on them because they were short-term and temporary, now they're going to be asked to vote on them permanently for the year, and that means funding for defense, funding for domestic, Planned Parenthood, Ex-Im Bank, all the things that have made life so difficult for the House leadership this past year are going to pop back up in spades, and it's going to be a new leadership.
Well, but isn't this going to be dangerous for Republicans in the coming year? I mean, this is the election year coming up, the presidential election and congressional elections.
Well, actually, it's a great question, and it's something that the answer hasn't really made it into the political vernacular yet. There are at least two different, maybe three different Republican parties. The House Republicans, for them, a shutdown is like a campaign event. It's their constituency is conservative. Their constituency is adamant they don't like Washington. And for a member of Congress running for re-election, a Republican member of Congress running for re-election, to be able to go back to his or her district and say, look what I did, I shut down the government on principle, on your principles, will get them a lot of support, will energize the base, will increase the number of votes in the primary, and that's what they're trying to win. It will be different, though, for Republicans running for Senate, where they have to appeal to a broader group of people across the entire state, and much different for the Republicans running for president. But I can tell you, I've had conversations with maybe 20 different members of the House Republicans, who've told me they care much less about winning the White House than they do about maintaining their majority in the House. So for them, a shutdown is good politics. For Senate Republicans, it's bad politics.
But wasn't the last shutdown quite disastrous for the Republicans?
No, just the opposite, actually.
Really?
The shutdown was 2012. In 2014, the Republicans took control of the Senate. They won the majority in the Senate. They won 16 extra seats in the House. So there are a lot of very conservative members of the Freedom Caucus, for example, who are making the case, trying to make the case to their colleagues, that rather than a shutdown being disastrous, it's actually pretty good politics because it worked perfectly well last time. I think you're thinking about the Gingrich versus Clinton shutdown in '95 and '96.
I think I am, yes.
And that was a disaster for Republicans. But they had a very skillful president, Bill Clinton, who was a great communicator. Newt Gingrich overplayed his hand, and the congressional districts hadn't been redistricted like they were in 2012. It's a very different political time now.
Well, is some of the fault with the present president, President Obama?
Look, he is standing firm on a variety of principles. He wants more for domestic and defense spending. He's saying, I'm not going to allow you to defund Planned Parenthood, but he hasn't been presented with a bill yet. He hasn't vetoed anything because Congress hasn't passed anything. So you can't really say it's his fault. I mean, back in '95 and '96, Bill Clinton did veto a Republican-passed bill and caused the shutdown. It was the immediate cause, even though the Republicans were blamed for it. This time, the president is saying, let's negotiate. Republicans are saying, at least the House Republicans are saying no. So it's hard to blame the White House yet.
Oh, you're a great prognosticator. Let's take, as one sort of final question here is, looking at the campaign year, looking at everything coming up, what are your predictions?
For the campaign?
For the campaign, for the budget, where we're likely to be a year in this coming November.
Well, in the House, it's hard. In the House, it's hard to imagine the Republicans losing control. The congressional districts have been redistricted in such a way that they've got firm control over a majority. They may lose a seat or two, but chances are the majority will be about the same as it is now, maybe just down a couple. The Senate's got a real shot. The Democrats have a real shot at taking over the Senate, especially as this kind of shutdown, debt ceiling kind of situation goes on for the next couple of months and probably intensifies. The White House, at this point, I'd say it's anyone's guess. We don't even have a clue who the Republican nominee is going to be.
I guess part of the question I'd ask is, does it make that much difference whether there's a shutdown or not?
Well, it does if the shutdown goes on for longer than about 2 weeks. What happens under those circumstances is not just that government employees can't go to work, it's that a lot of government functions don't get done. I mean, it's more than, yes, if you're a consumer, you can't go into a national park because they're closed. But for defense contractors, for example, work basically has to stop. There's no government inspectors to check what they're doing. And if a government defense contractor plant shuts down, then chances are the coffee shop across the street will shut down as well. So it has a repercussion. It starts to magnify itself, a kind of echo chamber effect on the economy. If it lasts longer than a couple of weeks, if it's just a couple of weeks, chances are the economy won't be hurt very badly.
Stan Collender, thank you for being here today, and we'll have you back again soon, I hope.
Well, I wish we didn't have to, but anytime you need me.
I'm Chuck Tinconi, and this has been Focus Washington.